Hey, so our internet sucks. Sorry. Let me include a link to this one. Copy. Okay. Yeah, we're back. Sorry, guys. Our internet sucks. Uh, I'm actually just using our like mobile hotspot right now. Let me plug that in, my phone in, so that I can. We have a 10-foot cable. It's really helpful for when we record. Um, yeah. Um, just Clive wasn't our connection again. Someone says, yeah, it's fair. Yeah, so um I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about before we disconnected here. German viewers? Was that it? It's neat how we have viewers in other countries. We really be out here. Um oh, so here's a fun story. So our Tokipona teacher, Jan Mali, um so we were, going back and forth on Reddit, like talking, just kind of doing the lessons, and one included like an introduction thing, and I mentioned that I had a YouTube channel about mental health, and she was like, "Oh, what is it?" And I said, "It's the Alexandrite system," like kind of being like, "Ooh, I didn't think that you'd ask," and wondering if this was going to be like that's it. Um, yeah, but she she messaged later that day because she's in New Zealand, and she was like, "I've seen your channel before." Um, like I did a binge of like a bunch of system channels a few weeks ago, and I definitely saw yours, and like, wow, that was weird and really cool. Um, I'm really new to all of this. I have been educating myself about DID and OCD for over a year now. It's exciting to see you live today. I enjoyed that stream isn't so overloaded. Thank you. Yeah, I think we have like enough people in here that it's like it's chill. It's chill, but we can like talk. Thank you so much for creating this channel. Thank you. I'm glad that it's helped you and help people. I don't always take compliments well. Um, I don't know if I left this in the day in the life video. I completely forget. But during that therapy session, I was talking about how being seen as a role model makes me uncomfortable in some ways. Um, Not that y'all should stop praising me or whatever. Um, Inflate my ego. Uh, but it's like I feel it's a common problem for a lot of people where it's like if I feel like if you think I'm a good person or an interesting person, clearly I've somehow tricked you in some way, you know? Generally make chill but informative and relatable content. And yes, it's nice. Thank you. Speaking of accurate earned praise. Thank you. Also, thank you to Bug for texting us that our stream went down when it went down. I appreciate it. It's really helping to see a system we can relate to in so many aspects. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. Like, dumbass system representation. Not calling you a dumbass, calling myself a dumbass. Oh, putting my foot in my mouth. I'll go over this again. Maybe people haven't seen the first couple videos of our channel. So the goal when we started this channel was that we felt like every system that we saw out there, like, had the thing that we talked about in the stream that ended a couple minutes ago, where like there were members that just like knew all about the system, and like people were it felt like people were so much more knowledgeable than us, or they had members who were more knowledgeable, and it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like, am I the dumbass here? And so that was our goal, be the representation for the other systems that are just like full of dumbasses. It's really helpful to feel less alone, to have someone who's talking out loud. What you've always felt but always denied. You don't have to be a role model, not at all, just a person. Thank you. It's very sweet. Ring System says we're so anxious and all over the place we don't represent it well in our nicely edited videos, so live streaming eventually will be interesting. I think you guys are going to do great. You guys are cool. You talk well. Yeah. We're a larger system, so we don't know a lot about ourselves, and seeing others know so much makes us feel like we failed somehow. Yeah, it's hard. And, like, I feel like so my therapist, when we started seeing her, she was like, by the time people get to me, they're like already experts in this. And honestly, like, I agree with that. But it's like the fact that we have to like become experts in our own thing. I don't know, I'm back and forth on it, because I feel like you know more about your system than anyone else, but I also feel like you shouldn't need to know everything about your system to like defend yourself to professionals and to other people in the community even. I feel like, you know, we're part of the like queer community and the trans community, specifically within the queer community. Before all this, I feel like we just jump from one group to another that decides to have all this infighting. Whatever. Oh, thanks. We want to have our first live stream with y'all, but the can't travel thing might make can't travel thing 5K might come before we see. Oh, you were gonna do one for 5K. Okay, yeah, before we can see y'all again. That would be sweet if you know, if that happens after all this is over, then we would love to be on there. If not, we will of course be in the chat. Like, it'll be great. You're gonna do great. Stream's cheering me up a lot right now. I'm glad. I admire your bravery to honestly speak about this. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Ring System says there's got to be like 10 to 15 people we don't know about either, and not knowing things, I feel like, is an integral plural experience. Yes. Yeah. All groups and all places have been fighting. You don't know about it until you join the club. Yeah. 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 It's hard sometimes to be unable to talk to anyone about what's going on when it comes to OSTD. I love the opportunity to be at least a little more open and feel welcomed as a system online. Yeah, it's yeah, it's nice to have this community. It's honestly kind of a privilege to say like, the community's pissing me off today. On days where it's pissing me off. Ring System said something in one of their videos about just enjoying being multiple and not worrying about who's fronting. Yeah. They're smart people. We only know about 45 out of 500 of us well enough to talk about. We try and reach out, but it doesn't go well. I feel for you. That's hard. Out of curiosity, what is your views on Lils being on the interweb? I think that's up to individual systems. I think that in the DID education community, because I feel there's a difference between the DID vlog community and the DID education community, and there is some overlap. But in the education community, there is this fear that is not unfounded, but I feel was this movement popularized by Dissociated mostly to not have littles on camera, which is fair. That's their choice. And any systems who want to follow suit with that are more than welcome to, and it's more than understandable. We don't have Sunny and Lexi on camera, mostly because they don't have a lot they want to talk about. Not Lexi, but Sunny will post on Twitter sometimes. And we're totally cool with them posting on Twitter. So I don't know. I think it's up to individual systems, but I think the idea of it being taboo is I don't know. It's not fantastic. I don't think that anyone should be shamed for having littles on camera. In fact, just the opposite. I think it's super brave to have littles fronting on camera, because I think that man, my knuckle is absolutely killing me. It's I can't pop it. I think that it's been said that if adults acting in a childish way is seen as scary or sad or whatever, and to have littles front is to have an adult body being a child from an outside perspective, and I think it's really brave to put that out there, because it normalizes it. And yeah, so when Susan talks on camera, it makes me happy to have it out there, even though that's kind of the acceptable range to have a kid out there. That's my thoughts. We don't plan on doing education videos, mostly for the stuff that's already been said. Yeah, that's for us. We just want to make entertaining videos and give some representation. Excuse me, in other YouTube spaces. I think that's cool. You should do that. Yeah, we I don't consider us an education channel. Okay, I consider us an education channel primarily, but I don't consider us. I consider us intra-community educators. That's why I put on our CV. where our goal is to help educate other people within our own community and like help them, and not educating singlets. Singlets are of course welcome here, but they're not the focus. Chat is. I'm trying to catch up on chat. When did you meet a system in person for the first time? That was last July at this plural meetup in Philly. We have a whole video on that. Dice did it. It's one of our early videos. Unless you count our spouse, in which case, like, 2015 and 2014. Love your collaborations with rings. Thank you very much. We are very proud of those. Wish my parents would understand OSD. Yeah. Sorry. Don't have any littles as far as I know, but kids these days do access the internet, and you do have adult supervision. Do you have fuck, I'm dyslexic. I'm sorry. You have adult supervision around in a system, kind of sorry at least, so that helps hopefully, yeah. I don't let my littles on YouTube. Keep our little ones offline. When we were in middle school, I felt like the previous host had to feel like they knew a bunch about LGBT identities before they look towards themselves. Yeah, it's hard. Who's fronting? Sandra is fronting. Hello. I probably should have put my own name up there instead of memes from 2014. My parents told me I'm faking this for attention. I'm so sorry. You're not. That's all I gotta say. Oops. For anyone who is in the legal agent side of it, for anyone who is in the legal age of the website inside, we won't let them use it, or at least when we can finally properly switch. Fair. Like I said, anyone who who can't do that for whatever reason, it's understandable. You're valid. Lils are often little in different ways as well. Yeah. There is no one size fits all to this question, as Phoenix System says. Sunny is very much like. Sunny is very capable, and that's why I feel comfortable with Sunny being on Twitter. So it's different for everyone. Is it exhausting for you to not switch in a while? Yeah. We typically switch several times a day. I would say on your average day, we switch a minimum of 3 times. I think the longest I've gone without switching is 5 days. And that was a nightmare. I was so tired by the end of it. I'm scared to go on camera. Any advice? Do voiceovers. That's, I think, so Soxes are still kind of training to be an occupational therapist, and they're, occupational therapy is like finding a way to get you back to doing the things you want to do, so you kind of find workarounds. So yeah, if you're not comfortable being on video, don't be on video. Like, do voice. It's made our littles and middles feel a ton better seeing littles on videos. They don't feel so ashamed existing when they see others like them. See? Yes, thank you. I wish I could talk to another system personally one day. We always have to hide so much, and it's annoying the others a little, especially. Need water. That's better. Especially seeing ones who would act very differently, especially the ones who would act very differently than me. Yeah, it's hard. But it sounds like there were a couple of other systems from Germany in here. I know Germany is a whole country, but try and get into contact with them maybe. There is definitely a system community out there. It's just finding it that's the issue. Emengard's talking about the plural symbol that they designed, and they mentioned that the designer is a system kid, and they thought that they would mention it in front of in light of this comp. It's very cool. I don't know which kid in your system did that. I am going to take a stab and say Bjorn. But yeah, it's very good. I really like that symbol. I watched your video about weird signs we had DID. It was super interesting. Have y'all remembered any other weird signs? A few people in the comments talked about hobbies changing a lot, or like interests changing a lot, and we definitely experienced that as well. In fact, as we were getting ready to film that one, we texted Soxes and we're like, can you think of any like things that make more sense now? And that was one of the things that they said. So that was another thing. Hey, Mass Panda is also an occupational therapy student. Heck yeah. I like that. It doesn't even have to be like drawn art. It could be stuff you see film or something. That's cute. Do a puppet show. That sounds fun. By the way, your story of you asking inside your head, is anyone here, and getting yes blasted back at you really helped me get into contact with some of my headmates too. I'm glad that helped. I like telling that story. We did make a few IRL system friends, which was fun. Her cat Alter and why their dog Alters got to play together. It's cute as hell. Ah. Oh man, I'm gonna be thinking about that for like the next week. Yeah. Finally caught up in the chat. Yeah, like it's. Yep. It's nice to know other systems, but it is definitely a privilege, and I hope that one day, we can be open enough that that's not as big of a deal to be openly multiple, and that more people can find each other. That's my hope. Are you often co-con? Yeah. I'm not going to say that like all of us are co-con at the same time all the time, but I am often co-con with someone else. Who it is kind of cycles. I think I'm pretty much always co-con with Glow, even if she's not talking. Like, I feel her, like, back here right now. I usually just have to, like, check in. Susan's usually around. Claudia's normally around. Camilla, I don't have great internal communication with, so she's not usually co-con with anyone. Let me rephrase that. I don't have great communication with Camilla, and Camilla doesn't have great communication with anyone, so she's not really co-con. Our legs hurt after, but it was worth it. Floofball never gets to front. So cute. We gotta get to know our cat better. Our internal cat, not the cat that's right there. Hello to you, Alisa? I'm gonna say Alisa. What do you think about non-human / spirit alters? We have a couple. We have the cat that I just mentioned. Cat doesn't really have a name. We just call them the cat. Kind of like Red Dwarf, but it's not that kind of cat. And we have Glow, who is a shadow person. So yeah, it's yeah, we're of course cool with non-humans / spirit alters. I think Powered to the Plurals did a like survey, and it's something like, I think they said like 80% of systems have non-humans, so it's way more common than is shown. Do you notice any differences in how alters hold the body, especially left versus right? Yes. Dice stands very differently. Dice stands like straight up, like the most rigid back I have ever seen. But somehow still very relaxed. Claudia used to hold the jaw really differently, just like tension-wise. A lot of us stand differently. You said especially left versus right. We are all right-handed as far as I know. Oh good, I got Alisa correct. At first I thought I would be making this up without losing a lot of time during the day, but I finally learned to realize the difference between being fronting and being co-con. Yeah. I don't know about... We found having others around when they front helps a lot, like our carer, for example. They can let us know what they do when they front, since we can't talk to them. Yeah, it's nice to be able to have somebody around to, like, to help. It's, yeah. Everyone needs help sometimes. Some people just need more help than others. Do you have any suggestions for strengthening communication between alters? I have an alter I haven't heard from in a while that I'm worried about. I don't have a lot of suggestions. I would think just like try calling back to them in the error world a bit. I don't know. Sometimes just like calling for them can bring them forward. The whole cocktail party effect that Ring System talked about in a video. And like I don't know. I don't have a lot of ideas, unfortunately. We've mostly had pretty good communication since finding out about each other. With Camilla, it's been a matter of just kind of bring her into the fold, making her like more aware of what's going on. I think journaling can help. I know that when we were journaling, we had a lot less memory loss. Um, Sometimes they also just need time. Yeah. Um, Ellen in our system goes into like brief dormancy periods. Um, I haven't heard from her in a bit, actually. Um, she's around. You just gotta wait. Yeah, it we always suggest spending time each day trying to talk with the system, even if you don't get responses. Yes. Yeah, just kind of shout back there. People might be listening, but not saying anything, which is fine. Damn, we've been going for 2 hours, huh? Wow. I guess a lot of people have more free time, and we're also streaming on the weekend. That's cool. We should do that more often. So yeah, ring system had a good suggestion there. I think it's a good idea. Any other questions? I like this. I like doing streams. We should do this more often. It'll keep us a little more grounded. I think that this really helped our mood today. The way we see it, if you don't have communication with all your coworkers but have to do your part, so you don't have communication with all your coworkers but have to do your part so they can do theirs. Treat the system the same way. How much should you do alter communication when you already have good communication and can easily switch and talk? I think it's always good to keep that muscle strengthened, you know? I think that system meetings can be helpful in general. Even if you have good communication, it's nice to just kind of check in and see how everyone's doing. See if there's anything anyone needs to talk about. So yeah. It's a muscle like anything else. Just a brain muscle. So yeah. Just want to say we're really interested in the overlap in being a system and being autistic and trans. Yes. There is definitely overlap, and I don't think there has been enough research done into it, but I also don't want a lot of research being done into it because I don't trust any research being done about autistic people. Been burned before as a community. Yeah, honestly, it's like Camilla said in that video, if you're a system, you're probably also autistic. Sorry. In our experience, in our opinion, but it's like it's a trend that we have noticed, and I think the overlap between being a system and being trans is a lot clearer to me because there are often many genders in a system, and because of that, there's probably going to be some playing around with gender just for like comfort. And there's also, side note, a significant overlap between autistic people and trans people. So It's kind of a 3-circle Venn diagram. Do you have any advice for handling alters that are overly emotional and disruptive? They need love. They need love and they need boundaries. And those two things are not in conflict with each other. I don't have too much advice. I think that they're another person. Just treat them with patience, but let them know that so I'm not going to get too far into it, but we've had issues with Glow in the past with that, and just acknowledging that her feelings are I understand that you're having these feelings, but I'm not gonna kowtow to you. It has helped just setting boundaries and being I will I'm not going to go far into it because I can't explain it well. But boundaries are important, patience is important, and love is important. What else? Mm-hmm. For some reason, systems we know have a unified system gender and, to some extent, individual genders. Yeah, to a degree we have that. We say that the body has its own gender. Like, the body is a trans woman, and some of us are trans women as well. We were talking with a friend who's a singlet, and we were telling them that we have cis people in our system, and they said that doesn't. They're trans, and they said that doesn't make sense to me from what I know about transness and cisness. Happy cisness, everyone. The best way they actually described it back to me after I explained it as basically we're all in a room that's shaped like a trans woman, and we each get to go up to a podium to speak. And when we go up to that podium, even though we are inside a trans woman, we each are still our own genders. It's a whole thing. It's philosophy. Don't know much about autism, to be honest. That's fair. I've only really just learned more about it in this past year, since finding out that we are. Does being plural does being plural and different system members having different genders make you trans? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Does it feel like those systems should all have access to the label in the community? To us, yeah, I think that's fair. Is there an easy way to figure out which alter intrusions are coming from? No, you just kind of gotta know your system, really. You could try asking. Sometimes if I'm getting a message, I'll be like, does anyone need to talk about something? That's that. Love and boundaries is definite yes. We actually are trying to do that. Yeah. Oops. We're autistic and trans / non-binary. We are a 1A system, so gender is a bit less complicated, and we do have one alter who is specifically formed to deal with dysphoria, so they're a bit complicated with gender. Yeah, dysphoria is kind of its own trauma, You're probably the only open 1A system I've ever met. I don't know any 1A systems on YouTube. Hey, maybe you could be that system. Um, Finding a safe space where they can express how they feel. Maybe finding better ways to calm them down if it's possible. Some grounding, doing something with your hands. Yeah. How do you deal with sometimes being a bit confused about which altar is going about doing stuff? Like who's fronting? Or like you come back from not being around and you find like things have been done but you don't know who did them. If it's that, I would leave notes or like ask or something. Sometimes people just fess up to it, whatever it is, even if it's a good thing. But confusion about who's fronting. Again, you kind of have to like know yourselves. It's a practice, and like it's a practice that is constantly needing to be worked on. It's like we were saying before, when you don't know who you are, you pick someone to be. And sometimes just acknowledging I don't know who I am right now can be helpful. The ring system got us into this habit of like figuring out who you are by like getting to know you questions, like what's your favorite color, how do you feel about this, do you like dogs or cats, that sort of thing can help narrow stuff down. Camilla, when she first like woke up on Twitter, she was saying like I feel too cis to be Sandra or Claudia or Ellen. I feel too female to be Samuel or Robin. I feel too old to be any of the kids. And just sort of going through that process of elimination can help. It takes practice, and you're probably never going to know all the time. Honestly, just take it how it goes. Yeah. Can I ask for a little bit of advice? Sure. All of our advice comes with the caveat that we're not a therapist, we're not a doctor, we're other people with this. Would you say that being a system with members of different genders but living in a world where bodies are only allowed / expected to have one gender is itself a non-binary experience? I don't see why not. Yeah. I think that the Western view of gender is very narrow, and it's yeah, I think that definitely can be a non-binary experience. You can maybe even consider like the body gender fluid at that point. Ring system says vis-a-vis the questions to find out who's fronting, it's literally a form of grounding. So by only can it help. Oh, so not only can it help figure out who you are, but it can solidify who you are out of the dissociation. Yes. I'm honestly questioning if we have an autopilot altar, but I've never seen DID system with one. Yeah, I've heard of autopilots. I've heard it more in the context of like no one's fronting and the body is just kind of like going about. But I kind of feel like there's probably like a fragment in there. Fragment being like a not very well defined altar. Yeah, I don't know. It's it's something. We don't have an autopilot, I don't think. I think someone's always fronting. Though when we first get up, sometimes it'll be hard to like spin up in the morning. Uh, Hello, Pepper Smith Humanoid. Good name. That's where we exist 99% of the time. We're inactive in a bunch of system servers too. Oh, that's whoops. Do you sometimes switch on purpose when you know someone can handle a situation better than you do? Yes. We are very fortunate to have good enough communication that we can switch on command sometimes. Yeah, it's sometimes someone will step in if we feel that they can do better at a certain thing, or if they want to do a certain thing. Recently, two alters had a huge fight in the inner world, and one of them just isn't communicating after that, and a new alter got formed from it, and the rest of the system isn't sure how to deal with it. I think that so when a similar thing happened between Claudia and Dice, where they had like a big explosive series of arguments, they needed space and they needed to work on individual stuff. And I don't feel qualified to give that much advice on this, unfortunately. But I would say that they might need a little space and they might need some mediating. Being a system is about conflict resolution, ultimately. Try and figure out what they both want and try and see if I don't know. It's not an easy situation. Just give it time. Archie the fish, the ring system fish, just swam in his log tube for the first time. Very proud of him. I'm proud of him too. I'm sorry I'm shaking the camera because my mouse is on my laptop. I sometimes try switching on purpose because I have social anxiety and some others don't. But social situations trigger me so hard because fear is so strong. Yeah. Dice is a social alter for us, and they really enjoyed just kind of like being out there. We're in that situation right now with our co-host. Just keep the door open for the new guy and start there. Allow the others time to cool down. Yeah. You don't need to get along. You just need to understand you're all there for a reason is something we've been told a lot about in system fights. Yeah, I think that's helpful to remember. I think that I don't know. There's no easy thing for this. Just remember that you're all people and you all have feelings, and you can, you know, you're stuck with each other, so you should try and get along. Honestly, that's sort of like that necessity of needing to get along has helped our relationships a little bit. It's like I'm probably going to be stuck with you for the rest of my life. This isn't gonna work if we're like this all the time. I don't know. That's in our system, we've really turned a corner with that over the last few months. Um, Glow and I have actually gotten to be friendly. Um, we're bigger, so for us, maybe it's different because we're more a workplace than a family. That's also fine. Um, yeah, I feel like if we're going to a workplace kind of environment, it's like uh, you at least need to tolerate each other, or if foregoing that, just kind of find a way to not be around each other. Um, yeah, Glow and I have been having a good time together lately. We've been playing that ARG, and we both enjoyed it. There have been several times where uh, we've been. Okay, so I'm going to once again define ARG for people who don't know. An ARG is an alternate reality game. It's like an online scavenger hunt, role playing, puzzles, that sort of thing. It's fun. Um, and so the we were stuck on this one puzzle for like we as a group, like the entire like group of people who are like doing this ARG, were stuck on this one puzzle for like a week. And Glow straight up had the answer like 4 days before we actually solved it. And we didn't, but I didn't understand what the hell she meant by the thing that she wrote down. The code was in T9, and she wrote number pad code. Each number corresponds to a letter set on a number pad. And this note was like, she wrote this at like 4 in the morning. And I looked at it the next morning and I was like, Glow, I don't know what that means. And I couldn't like understand what she was talking about. But yeah, there was another thing where she solved a puzzle like days before anyone else. It's yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get into what that ARG is about later when I want to clear out the room. Um, what YouTube systems do you enjoy watching, and which ones do you relate to the most? Ring system excluded. Oh, right. So what ones do we enjoy? Here is a here's my indie recommendation for you. Whimsical Ghost. They're probably not going to be posting as much at the moment because they just had a baby. Archer, here's someone. I think it's just someone on the stairs or something. Um, like, Whimsical Ghosts, they do good stuff. They talk about their DID. They also talk about their Tourette's. And they do kind of like vloggy style videos, and they're really cool people. Yeah, I like them a lot. They actually did a few videos on pregnancy and DID, which I thought were very cool. As someone who cannot get pregnant, I thought it was interesting to hear that perspective. Who else do I like? I've watched several of Giannu's systems videos. It's nice to see an older system on YouTube, body wise. I always feel bad saying that because I don't want to call anyone old, but like most systems on YouTube who get like a live recognition are like, pardon, they're like 20 something white girls. I'm sorry. As a 20 something white girl, this is what it is. Uh, Acrylic and ether I like a lot. Our channel has been pretty has kind of been influenced by acrylic and ether. I have I'm gonna read a quote from Claudia. No, I'm not, because I'm not gonna spend 5 minutes finding it. But basically, her sentiment was that um, a lot of the bigger systems on YouTube, she feels, are very conformist to singlet ideals. They're like not too weird, you know? And acrylic and ether, she loves that they're just so openly and unapologetically trans and plural and in love with each other. Um, it, it's punk rock as hell to be open about your mental illness and to not be um, I guess just let your fucking freak flag fly or whatever. um, yeah, I think Acrylic Ether's sort of more laid back attitude is what we try and emulate a little bit on here. Um, we don't exactly relate to them just in system structure or terms, but I love their work. Systems we relate to. So, like, I know that they're a. Have you seen Acrylic Ether's DID vines? They're so funny. Yeah, I have seen them. They're cute. Uh, so I know they're a controversial figure in the community, but the I would like to start out by saying we are not exclusionist by nature. We haven't really said this on the channel before, but endogenic systems are welcome here. Our general feelings are, as long as there is still a space for traumagenic systems or adaptive systems or whatever you want to call us, to like have our own little trauma space, that's fine. Like, it's not hurting anyone. And like, I think that I've learned a lot from endogenic systems. So that out of the way, I like the entropy systems videos. They were an inspiration for us getting into YouTube. Not as big of an inspiration as Ring System or Acrylic and Ether, but they were an inspiration. And I feel I know that Susan relates to Kim Kim a lot. They have kind of similar shit going on, at least on a like base level. So yeah, we relate to them on a system level. We don't condone a lot of. I mean, this goes for. Oh, am I gonna get into drama? They're entitled to their own opinion. All the big YouTubers, they're all entitled to their own opinion. It's whatever. I'm gonna stop talking about this before I put my foot in my mouth. Most systems on here are smaller, so we don't really relate to many of them. It's hard to find larger systems that actually upload. Yeah. Acrylic and Ether is probably the only, like, polyfrag system that I know of on YouTube. And I'm not going to say that I'm, like, a system YouTube expert here. But, like, it's hard. It's hard to find representation for every type of system. I think it's nice that they're out there, but I wish there was more. I wish there was more representation for systems on YouTube in general. Do you have any advice for starting a YouTube channel? I said this last time, last stream. My advice for starting a YouTube channel is do videos for yourself. So you are not going to have many people watching at first. It's just the nature of YouTube. There's so much content out there that you have to make yourself stand out in some way. But if you're not enjoying making videos, then you're not gonna... I think people can tell when you enjoy making content, and it shows in work. And we make videos because we enjoy making videos. It's part of the reason why we've been taking more breaks. For the first, like, 6+ months of this channel, 6 months basically. We upload every Monday and Thursday, no exceptions. Consistency is key. You gotta appease the algorithm or whatever. But I think it's good to start out with and just to be consistent. Do like once a week or whatever, once every couple of weeks. Just have a little schedule, just to kind of keep you thinking about it. But you should be having fun. You should enjoy what you're doing, because it's a hobby. Most people aren't going to be able to make a living from their YouTube career. We're never going to be able to. Like, we have a policy that we're never going to monetize our videos, because we feel it's kind of restricting. We might do a Patreon at some point. We'll talk about it. But yeah, like, don't do this expecting to get famous. Do this because you like it, and do this because you like the community, and do this because you want to put something out there. Yeah, just roll with it and do what feels good. Thank you, Ring System. You've inspired me to rebrand a spare account I had to my system. Maybe I'll end up doing something with it. Heck yeah. If you do a channel, tweet at us. We'll retweet it. Debate making your own channel, but TBH, we have nothing interesting to add. Our system is so clockwork and almost robotic in function, it probably wouldn't be fun for anyone. I don't know. I think that every system has something to add. I think that just, like, I don't know, if you want to, put your story out there. Even if it's just, like, one video, if you have, like, an idea, just put it out there. It's worthwhile. Thanks, we enjoy it, but we really wanted to give back to this community since videos helped us a lot. Mood. We still getting used to talking into a camera. Yeah, it takes a while. I thought streaming would be weird because I'm, like, talking in front of my laptop and, like, nobody's talking back to me, like, with actual words. Well, with, like, spoken words. you just don't think about it at some point. Um, we far prefer autism videos we've made to our DID ones. Oh, that's cool. Scribblers say they're thinking about if they want to do videos or stream or something like that, but feel we need to get things in our daily life worked out first. Yeah, I think that's good. We started doing videos once we felt like we were comfortable with ourselves and with our life, and we felt like we had the ability to speak on it, and like the stars need to align before you can probably do a YouTube channel. It's not for everyone. But, it doesn't have to be something you do all the time. Maybe just do a video here and there. Another thing to take into your consideration, what is your video type? Animation can get by with less frequently due to the time needed to make them, and they will usually rake in views. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watch, any of you watch Quentin reviews out there? I like his work a lot. But he did a video on the YouTube algorithm, and he said that the current working theory on how the algorithm works is that it favors evergreen content. So like content that that stays fresh. And animated videos are like a big part of that, because if you watch an animated video, like if you watch a video on an animated channel from like 2 years ago, it's probably going to be pretty similar in style to ones like right now. So yeah, animated videos could like rake in views, especially because there's not really that in this community. Ring System did animations for a little bit. That was their original channel stuff. I really like those videos. I think they're really charming. But yeah, I don't know. Been thinking about doing podcasts for safety reasons. We could not be on YouTube. Also valid. Podcasts, yeah. I don't think there are enough system podcasts. There's System Speak. That's the big one I know of. We did do animations for a few years. They're really old and kind of cute from when we were much younger. Yeah. The one about Montana making cookies still makes me very happy. Oh, what's funny is in your guys' Q&A video from last year, we asked a series of questions on like our system Twitter, and then we asked one on like our normie YouTube channel, YouTube account, and that one asked about that cookie story, and you like put those as like from two separate people. I'm like, that's also me. Big secrets. Just watching someone talking about something with a calm voice can be a grounding tool for someone. Yeah, like ASMR. Maybe that's something anyone can add to support. Oh man, system ASMR would be pretty damn cool. But just talking in general also cool. Love system speak, yeah. So, we've been going for nearly 3 hours. We are going to start wrapping up soon. So, if you guys have any other questions, you can get those in now. And at the very end, I'm going to talk a little about the ARG we're a part of to clear out the room. Much like I did with D&D for last time. It's going to be special interest time at the very end. So yeah. I've had a lot of fun doing this. This is... How do you get out of emotional flashbacks? Grounding. That's the best thing I can help. Try and get to a quiet space and just do some grounding. Thoughts from J8, Jade Miller's website, I think has a thing of like 200 grounding exercises. It's really good. You can find something on there that can help you. So yeah, emotional flashbacks are hard, but just finding a way to assure yourself that you're safe. I've learned a lot. Been listening to you while making lunch. Love your streams a ton. Thank you. This helped us a lot. We need more social interaction because of the elephant. I like calling it the elephant. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the reasons we decided to do this today. We were feeling like real bummed, and we needed something to connect us with other people. Like we live with 3 people here, including our spouse. Well, 3 bodies, you know. And 2 of them we don't really get along with. So it's nice to have someone besides Mads and Co. that we want to talk to. Any other questions? At 1:45, I'm going to start wrapping up and talking about special interests. Assuming there are no questions. All the groups we're in stopped doing chats lately. That sucks. Thank you for the stream. Really appreciate it. You are welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. Like, it's very humbling to have people come out here and actually, like, watch us. I don't know. It's something we're still not really used to, that people are, like, interested in us and what we have to say. It's weird, but thank you so much for being subscribed and being here and just, like, supporting us in this way. Any thoughts on making an Alexandrite system YouTube Discord group? Maybe. That's flattering. Maybe, yeah. If there is enough interest, we could. I can't promise that we would be super active on it, just because, like, we have this thing where if, like, we're in 2 main groups, some fall by the wayside, and we have our close friend group, and right now we have, like, the ARG group that we're, like, super active in, and we're also we occasionally try and keep up with the one, like, plural group that we're in, system group. So yeah. Rank System says we can combine forces. I think that would be cool. Make our own little, like, 1B YouTube system people fan channel. Fair, but the community you and Rings have is great and nice, and it'd be nice to get to know everyone more. I agree. I enjoyed listening to the stream when we just woke up. It was nice. Could someone do... Sorry. We've had bad experiences with system chats in the past, but we kind of want to get back into it. Yeah, you kind of have to find, like, your own corner of it. Not every group is going to be good, unfortunately. Yeah, one last call for questions. So yeah, tea or coffee? Tea, mostly either, like, really sweet London fog or, like, an herbal tea that has like a lot of hibiscus and rosehip in it. Any sort of red tea we're, like, super into. our body does not like tannins very much, so anything bitter is not in our wheelhouse usually. So yeah, the stream is not ending right now, but I would like to say now, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It has been lovely having you all here. And thank you for your continued support. Over 500 subscribers now. I think we're at 550 now, which is wild. Like, thank you guys. We're really starting to snowball here. 553, very cool. Thank you so much. We really love the community that we have here. It's very humbling that people listen to us. It's something that we appreciate every day. And whenever I'm a little down about like not having ideas for a video, or like not, whenever I'm down about the channel, or I'm down about system stuff, or whenever I'm down, I just kind of, I don't know, I look through nice comments and I kind of just remember that the space exists, and that there are people with shared experiences out here, you know? So yeah, thank you. And now I'm going to talk about my ARG experience for like 10 to 15 minutes. So, okay, so we're super into this podcast called The Argonauts, capital ARG, lowercase onauts. They talk about old defunct ARGs, and they had this running joke where they're like, you know, when we create our ARG to kill all other ARGs and eat their bones, you know, maybe, you know, they joked about doing like a sponsored ARG, because there are live ARGs that were like advertising campaigns. Like Audi had a weird one in like 2003. And I mean, there are ones for like all sorts of movies and stuff. AI had one. Cloverfield had one. And like Halo had two like kind of famous ones, mostly the I Love Bees one. And so they joked about like who would sponsor their ARG, and they were like, Pepsi. Let's get Pepsi to sponsor an ARG for us. And so so a big portion of ARGs is the idea of this is not a game. The idea of like you are immersed in this world, and it's all supposed to be like real. Suspension of disbelief, you know. So the way they kickstarted this ARG was they were like, we actually have our first ever sponsor on this podcast. So here is their ad, and it was an ad by a man named Bowtie Nebula. This ARG has a lot of great names, and he said like. He said that he was like, I've heard rumblings of the idea of Pepsi maybe sponsoring this podcast. You shouldn't do that. Oh, here it is. This isn't an ad so much as it is an outreach. We've heard rumblings about Pepsi sponsoring this podcast, and the record deserves to be set straight. Don't take the money. They aren't your friend. They've never been a friend to old Bowtie Nebula here. The you slurper beverage is the enemy, one long laying dormant. They say that they stopped being an enemy long ago, but those of us in the know are in the know. They never disarmed, and their threat is only growing. I'm Bowtie Nebula. Join me in standing up against their vile propaganda and exposing them to the world. And then he said a series of like letters and numbers that led to a like bit.ly link. And it led to a website called Pepsi Navy Exposed. So the concept of this ARG is that in the 80s, Pepsi made a bunch of submarines out of like recycled Pepsi can metal, something like that. And they've had like a secret navy for years. Like they claimed that they sold those subs to Iceland or something in the 80s, but they never did. Um, so it's about exposing and taking down the secret Pepsi navy, and it's great. Um, before I get more into it, someone said, just about to start seriously on an ARG. I found I'm super nervous because I've never played one before. Do you have any tips? Um, have fun, make friends. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be like the one to do things. You can definitely help in some weird ways. I think the thing that really works about ARGs is that it's sort of a um, I'm not going to say it's like hive mind, but like it's the concept of many minds are better than one, because everyone brings their own experiences and their own knowledge. Um, oof, uh, like there, there was a puzzle recently in the ARG that we were in where we were linked to a Magic the Gathering deck list, and we had to figure out a puzzle through that. And like having knowledge of MTG actually didn't help with the puzzle, but sometimes just having knowledge of weird things can help with a weird puzzle. Um, uh, so yeah, have fun, make friends, enjoy the experience, document things. You should just like write stuff down, take screenshots. Because if I've learned anything from listening to the Argonauts, it's that ARGs aren't archived well enough. They're sort of like ethereal by nature, which is cool, but it also sucks. Scribblers say they remember the Portal 2 ARG. Fun times, yeah. Portal did a neat one. So, oh man, so some cool stuff has happened in it. There's we joined like a closed forum. It's like a pro boards forum about this with Bowtie Nebula, and we each got randomly assigned like beverage themed names. We are our handle is LaCroix Lover 500. We don't like LaCroix. Um, uh, so that's fun, and just kind of like talking on there is cool. And so the point that we got in on, we heard that message when it came out, and we were like, that's probably an ARG trailhead, and then never thought about it again. And it was like a month later, a weird episode of the podcast went up on the podcast feed, and it was trigger warning for like death and conspiracy theories, by the way. Casual mentions of like character death. So it was a dead man switch for this character, basically like something that's supposed to be sent out like in the event of your death. And I was like, is the Argonauts ARG popping off? And so yeah, Booster Phillips the third got by a Pepsi Man. And pardon the voices outside the door. So yeah, so that happened, and then like a month later, Bowtie Nebula posts on the forums that he's going to go on a solo mission to do like to explore more of like what the other guy got killed doing. And we only saw this like 6 hours after he posted it, and so it was like too late to stop him. And so we we in our Discord group we were like, shit. And an NPC who's she's supposed to be like the new intern of the podcast. She was like, I think I have a way to help him. Let's here, solve these puzzles, and we'll communicate later. And it led us to this this website where we were supposed to figure out these coordinates and put them in, and that would help locate Bowtie to help rescue him. Right? Yes, Bowtie. So, turns out that we helped the baddies by accident. So we each got mailed a package. We had like put in anyone who like was comfortable receiving something, put in their address. We're like friendly with the GMs, so it wasn't like it wasn't a big ask. So the so we solved these puzzles. We put in all the coordinates and stuff, and we got to a page that was like a countdown. It was like package arrives in this amount of time, and so we all had a big like opening party on a Discord voice chat, and so we opened the package, and inside is a T-shirt, which is cool because Bowtie said at one point like, let's all get friend shirts. That was the excuse to like get our addresses for this thing. And I like unfolded it, and it says, I helped Pepsi kill Bowtie Nebula with a Mountain Dew Baja Blast, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt. And it turns out that Alice, the intern who said that she was going to help us find Bowtie, it turns out that she's actually like a Pepsi AI. So that was hard. That was not great. So we're currently trying to flip a Pepsi Navy agent. She's willing to work with us, but we're trying to get her out. We're using this contact named Tangerine Wavelength to try and help her. And that's kind of where we're at. It's weird and it's cool, and I like it. So that was special interest chat. Thanks for joining us for like 3 hours. Wow. I've had a lot of fun, and this was a real nice way to spend the afternoon. So again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. And I'll see you next time. I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye. Now to watch me close the stream as it doesn't close right away, and I just kind of stare awkwardly.